I just came from the hospital. The doctor said that Dad doesn't have long after all. She said we should prepare ourselves mentally.
I see. This must be tough for you. Are you all right?
Yeah. But he's been fighting against death for about 6 months now. I even thought that if he passed, his suffering would come to an end. Am I a bad person?
Not at all. Lydia, you've been taking care of him the most out of all your family, right?
I guess. Not that I really wanted to be looking after him. It's just so weird that my argumentative father is just lying there quietly. It just still feels surreal.
It's not so easy to accept this so soon. I'll go visit sometime soon.
Thanks. I'm sure he'll be pleased. Joey's always really liked you, and he could trust you with work.
Really?
It's true, right? This is a first for anyone outside of direct relatives to get a position like a chief director. Well, it's all because you're so good at your job. I've never been complimented by my dad. Not even once.
Your dad is a little old-fashioned when it comes to his treatment of women.
That's true. I guess my brother takes after Dad in that regard. Because of Dad and Harry, I just thought that all men are chauvinistic like that. You're the one who changed my view on that.
In a good way, right?
Of course. I'm so glad we got married, Joe. Isn't work busy because my dad's away?
It's fine. That's what I'm here for.
You're so reliable. Have you heard the rumor that some of the other employees are saying you should be the next CEO, Joe?
There are others that outrank me, like Harry and your uncles. I'm not related in blood, so it won't happen.
I guess you're right. Thanks for sticking with my family's company. I know it's a nuisance. My relatives aren't exactly the kindest of people. That includes my dad, too. But you don't have to keep working there if it gets tough, all right?
I'm just happy we got married, Lydia.
Me too.
You've been visiting the hospital a lot lately. Aren't you tired?
Yeah, listening to difficult conversations is tiring. My brother and relatives were talking about inheritance. I'll go have a nap for a bit. Don't worry, I'll have dinner ready.
You don't have to make dinner if you need a rest. This must be emotionally draining, so sometimes you need a break on account of that.
Thanks, but I'll be okay for making dinner. But you shouldn't overwork either, Joe. You've been coming back late recently.
Got it. I won't overdo it. Just take it easy.
Joe, what the hell happened? Everyone's angry that you were laughing so hard at the funeral of the man who was your father-in-law and CEO. And then you disappeared somewhere?
Sorry about that. All sorts of emotions welled up inside of me. I couldn't help but laugh.
How can you say that? I'm honestly appalled that you laughed as well, Joe. I think that was way out of line. All my relatives are saying that I should divorce such a horrible man. I didn't realize that you thought it was so funny that my dad died.
I haven't laughed that hard in ages. I honestly think that karma caught up to him.
What? What do you mean, karma? I'll admit that I wasn't exactly fond of my father, but he always liked you, didn't he, Joe?
He never liked me at all from the start. He was just using me.
Huh?
You remember when I was hired at your family business after we got engaged, right?
Yeah?
Your dad just wanted access to the tech at my dad's company. That's why he got the two of us to marry.
What the? I haven't heard any of that. It's true that your dad introduced you to me, but We didn't talk about anything about either of their jobs. In fact, we were just having a casual dinner. I didn't get the impression that they were pushing marriage.
Maybe he didn't let you know, Lydia, but your dad told me to marry you from the get-go. At the time, my dad's company was struggling. So your dad offered to lend my dad some money.
So you didn't marry me because you loved me? It was all a lie?
That's not true. I thought I would refuse at first, but he said we should at least meet first. I thought I could just act disinterested and get you to dislike me. But I met you, and it was, well, love at first sight, Lydia.
Really?
It's true. I never liked your father, though. There was nothing particularly impressive about him as a businessman either. So I didn't want to get involved if possible. I mean, he was the kind of man who would use his own daughter for his own gain. Like he was some kind of feudal lord selling off his daughter like property.
If you hated his offer so much, why did you go through with it?
Because I loved you so much, of course. Lydia, you are kind, honest, and you have the most beautiful smile. I thought that you would just be used by a pawn by some other jerk if I refused. So I thought it would be best to stay by your side and protect you as much as possible.
I had no idea. I wish you had told me all of this sooner. I wouldn't have let you suffer in silence, Joe.
I thought you'd be hurt if you found out the truth. You've never been fond of your dad, have you? I didn't want you to make it worse by revealing that he was using our marriage.
Then why did you tell me now?
I'm sorry. The situation has changed.
Situation?
Your dad told me to divorce you before he passed. He was going to marry you off to somebody else for his selfish ends. You're very pretty and still young, after all.
How could he?
He's got the tech he wanted for my dad's company. He was just getting rid of dead weight.
How scummy my dad and my relatives were.
Of course, I wasn't going to do as he said. But when I declined, your dad and your relatives and the other top brass tried their best to incriminate me. They tried to frame me for all sorts of crimes. I've managed to get by with the help of employees who are on my side.
I had no idea they were doing all of this to you. Oh, I'm so sorry.
No, I'm sorry I couldn't tell you. It wasn't your fault. And all the harassment stopped when your father dropped ill.
I see.
Honestly, I'm at my wit's end. I want some distance from your relatives, and I want the same for you, too. That's why I told you all of this, Lydia. I'm sorry. I know you would have preferred not to know.
Not at all. Thank you for telling me the truth. I really had no idea. That's why Dad and all the others called me stupid.
You're not stupid, Lydia. But do you trust me? It's not as if I have proof. Well, I'm glad you believe me, but, you know...
Of course. I trust you more than anyone else in the world, Joe. You've always been so kind and honest with me. I know you're a good person.
Thank you, Lydia. Will you stay with me? You have to be ready to live a life that might be more difficult than before.
Naturally. I want to help you. You don't have to bear all of this alone. I say that, but I'm not even sure how exactly I can help you. Still, I'll do anything.
You're giving me all the help I need and more by just staying by my side, Lydia. I've processed your resignation notice, Joe. I guess you finally realize that you're unneeded here. Took enough time for you to quit. But I wish you'd quit when Dad was still alive. It would have been a nice parting gift for him. I did as you asked. You can't really complain. Not so fast, buddy. What about your divorce with Lydia? Dad gave you that as one of his terms. Harry, look. Lydia and I aren't getting a divorce. I can't believe you're making political marriages in this day and age. You could have consulted my father's company. That would have been the practical thing to do. I don't care as long as it benefits us, even temporarily. We both got connections out of this, so it wasn't so bad. Lydia isn't a pawn to be sold off as you please. She's my precious wife. Ah, what are you babbling on about? It was just a useful marriage for you as well to begin with. That was how I met her, but I married her because I loved her. If we weren't compatible, I wouldn't have done such a thing. Aw, enough of your sappy talk. Sure it's okay for me to tell Lydia directly that you married her to bail out your dad's company? I'm sure she'll be deeply hurt. That's fine. I explained everything to Lydia. She still says she wants to be with me. Now that's true love. Ugh, I see. So that idiot is naive and too trusting of people as always. That's why we call her a failure. She's just an airhead who has nothing but looks. She's your own sister. How can you say such a thing? I don't have a single fond memory of her. She's just some dumb girl who never thinks about anything. You could see the stupid in her expressions. I've always found her annoying. But I guess it's thanks to her that we were able to take all that tech from your old man's company. Ha! Stop insulting my wife. Lydia is kind and a ray of sunshine. She's a far better person than you or any of your relatives. Whatever. I've never had high hopes for Lydia anyway. Is that so? It seems like Dad wanted to use Lydia, but I just wanted to get rid of you. So it seems like I got my wish, huh? I got to be the new CEO too. Then you should never approach Lydia or me again. We don't want anything to do with you. Do as you please. Just don't come crawling back to us because you lost your cushy job. I'll make sure you don't get 1 cent of Dad's inheritance. If you want nothing to do with us, it shouldn't be a problem, should it? Same goes for you, Harry. If business goes badly for you, don't come crawling back to me for help. Huh? Why should I need your help? You do whatever you liked, even though we did you a favor and hired you. Don't get cocky just because a few people wanted you as the next CEO. You're being rather bold. I guess you haven't been told yet, then. Ah, told what? What are you talking about? It's been about 3 days since I handed in my resignation notice. Haven't you heard anything from HR? There shouldn't be anything wrong. Really? That's weird. Some of the others who also resigned got in touch with me. There were quite a few of them, so I just thought you might be in trouble. Oh, such an obvious lie. Company is running as normal. Then that's great. Well, that's the way it should be. If all the non-relative employees quit, I'm sure the rest of you could keep the company afloat. If your company really did go down after that, how pathetic it would be. Wait a minute. Oh, what's wrong, Harry? Did you start getting worried? Are you calling HR? Hey, what's going on? What do you mean? 10 people quit all at once? There's even one guy who quit just now. Aw, did you orchestrate this? I bet you're moving them all to another company. I did no such thing. I'm pretty sure everyone did this of their own free will. No way was this their free will. What is this? All our senior people have just up and left. If you did take them somewhere else, I'm gonna sue you. Do what you want. I haven't done a thing. It's your stupid family's fault for building the company on nepotism and overworking the non-relatives. They must have all just had enough. It's because you quit. There were a few people who told me that was their reason for leaving, but that's not grounds for a lawsuit. This is all your fault. We've got enough trouble as it is arguing about Dad's inheritance. What do you think you're doing? Actually, you're the one who told me to quit. I didn't think the others would quit as well. Then wasn't that a problem for you not knowing your own employees very well? Ah, fine. We'll take you on again in our company. So tell the others to quit to withdraw their resignation notice. No, thank you. I don't have the faintest desire to work for your company anymore. What? We've been paying you well all this time. You can live very comfortably. I don't need your job. Okay, I'll double your salary. So why don't you take back your resignation? You don't understand a thing, do you? It's not a problem of money. We've kept you all this time. You owe us. I've worked hard for your company. I've contributed more than anyone to your profits. What more can you ask of me? This is Lydia's family business you're talking about. Yeah, but we're cutting ties, remember? Well, I'm busy preparing for the next stage of my life, so I'll go now. Wait! Then you can be Chief Operating Officer. That'll keep you happy, right? If you're upset that Uncle Tony's taking that position, you can have it. I don't want it. You really don't get it, do you? What do you want from us? Tell me. I only stayed at your company for Lydia. You might not see her as much, but she's my everything. You said you don't need her, as if she was just some object. So I don't feel like cooperating. Aw, what's so great about that dumb girl? Her looks. So easy for women. All they need to do is look good. Then they don't need anything else for life. Then what do you bring to the table, Harry? What do you mean? You're incompetent at your job, your employees don't respect you, you're ugly, and a horrible person. You left Lydia completely on her own when it came to looking after your father. What exactly is it that makes you so amazing? Compared to you, Lydia is beautiful and a lovely soul. She's better than you in every way. After that, with only employees hired based on nepotism left, the company went into a financial slump. Add to that, the relatives and the top brass bickered amongst each other about the inheritance, so the company finally went bankrupt. By that point, they were truly out of any competent employees. The bankruptcy of the company led Harry to personally become bankrupt as well. None of his father's inheritance was left. I'm not even sure where he is or what he's doing anymore. Because of the family's infighting, I heard there wasn't a single person who helped him out. I've taken on my dad's company. Business is stable. I've been there to discuss future plans with the other employees who quit with me. I even introduced some of them to new jobs elsewhere. I've tried to do right by them for dragging them into the mess at their former workplace. I'm not sure if I could say that we're even. Regardless, I'd like to help them if they need me going forward. Now that we're separated from Lydia's family, we're living a peaceful life. Lydia is pregnant now, so we're researching all we can about childbirth and raising children. We want to create an environment where the whole family is happy. And of course, my beloved wife will be by my side.
Hey, loser. What? What are you up to right now? I've got college today. Why? Did something happen? College? What a waste of money. Get your butt home. Now. You don't have the brains for that to be worth a dime. You aren't good for much at all. Come straight home. Have you made plans for dinner yet? Do you know what you're making? Wait just a minute. I'm getting a transfer to a university. Have you forgotten? You're nothing but an unemployed leech. You're really going to talk that way about your own son? I know I didn't get into the program last time, but I'm studying to try again. I know in my heart I am going to make it this time. This time next year, I'll be a university student. You don't have to worry about me. You can say what you want. I really don't care. Your plans don't interest me at all. You don't have to take it that far. You and your plans aren't interesting to me at all. You're the failure of this family. It would have been better if we never had you. We should have just had Kenneth and stopped there. I know that Kenneth is your favorite. But I'm the one that is studying and trying to make something of myself. And you know what? I don't care. I don't care what you guys think of me anymore. I'm going to live my life and it's going to be a good one. I have plans for what I'm going to do with my life. I know who I am going to be. What? Who cares about that? I already know who you are. You're a failure that can't do anything and will never amount to anything ever. That's who you are. The least you could do is handle making dinner every night. At least you would be giving something back to this family. But you can't even seem to handle that much, can you? Why can't you support me even the tiniest bit? I'm studying hard. I know I can get a transfer to a good school. Is that so much to ask? You know, Kenneth is still just a junior in school. He has another year before he is going to be getting into college. Why do you guys put him first all the time? Why am I supposed to make his dinner and take care of him? I'm busy with school and studying. If you're going to keep whining and complaining, I'm going to yank you out of that community college. I'll make you quit. What? I'm paying for everything myself. Why would you even say such a thing? Am I not supposed to be able to rely on you for anything? You're my parents. I've been working part-time to pay for all my classes and tutors. It sucks that I failed the first time, but I did my best. That's why I'm working so hard to get in this time. I don't know what you are trying to get at, but it doesn't even matter at this point. There's nothing you could say to make me care. You're the worst. How do you even call yourself a parent? You're a loser! I don't even want to think of you as my kid. I meant what I said. I wish you weren't mine. I wish I just had Kenneth. Your father feels the exact same way as I do. Wow. Seriously? You're going to go there? You're a waste of space. You are a good-for-nothing louse. You aren't worth what it costs to feed you. You'll never amount to anything. Why don't you go ahead and move out? What? Is that really how you feel? That's exactly how I feel. This isn't just about you skipping out on your chores or not making dinner. You know that? You also keep talking back to me, and I won't have it. I don't need some back-talking piece of trash for a son. Why do you even exist? I wish you'd never been born. I don't even know what to say. I'm in shock. I didn't know there was a parent alive that would say that about their own son. You really do hate me? That much? Ha! I don't care enough about you to hate you. I've got Kenneth. He's always such a good boy. He's so smart. And he's always studying, too. You know the biggest difference between you two? He has a future. He's going to be someone I can be proud of. He's going to be a doctor. Just you wait and see. He is my bright and shining star. And you're just something in the way. If that's really how you feel, then I will move out as soon as I can. Can you wait for me to save up the money to get a place of my own? It won't take long. Just enough to get the deposit on an apartment. It should just take a couple of months. Not a chance. Really? I've already packed your bags for you. They'll be waiting by the door. If anything is left tomorrow morning, I am taking it to the dumpster. That's way too fast. I cleaned out your room. I'm turning it into a study for Kenneth. What are you saying? He already has a room. Isn't that enough? I've read it is better to study in a different place than where you sleep. It helps you focus. With you gone, he's going to be able to really concentrate and focus on his studies. I've decided that that's what's best for him. So you want to get your things and head out today, okay? This is truly the worst thing I have ever had happen to me. And you've done plenty of horrible things to me in the past. But this tops the list. I could never have imagined you doing this to me. What do you want me to say? You've already managed to fail at life. That's pretty amazing, considering how young you are. That's enough. I don't want to talk about it anymore. I'll come grab my things. I don't want to see your face, so we are going to go out for dinner tonight. Just grab your things and go. Don't be there when we get back. What are you doing? Where are you these days? Huh? Mother? Is that you? It's been years since I've heard from you, you ungrateful child. Huh? What are you talking about? You kicked me out. What do you want now? You're working these days, aren't you? I am, but what has that got to do with anything? If you're working, shouldn't you be sending some money back home to your parents? That's the proper thing to do. Where's the money? You haven't sent anything. What? What are you talking about? You kicked me out of the house. You haven't reached out to me a single time since, either. And now you're asking me for money all of a sudden? Don't talk back to me. I've never bothered you about it before because, as dumb as you are, I just assumed you'd never be able to send much. But you need to give us what you can right now. Why are you asking me for money out of the blue like this? And honestly, why should I send it to you? You've never shown me an ounce of grace. I'm not really feeling like I owe it to you. How dare you talk to your mother like that? What is wrong with you? You really are a loser, aren't you? Your little brother is working hard to become a doctor, and you? What have you done with yourself? You aren't good for anything else, so at least send some money our way. I'm a doctor, Ma. Huh? You wanted to know what I did with myself? I became a doctor. You always told me how I would never amount to anything. How worthless I was. At least that gave me the strength to work hard. Not because you supported me, but in spite of you. I've been able to make a good living for myself all on my own. And I did it with absolutely no help from you. What are you talking about? You're a doctor now? You never had any interest in me, even from the time I was a child. You never paid any attention to me. You never asked me about my hopes or dreams. I'm sure there is plenty you don't know about me. I was studying to get into med school. I also always wanted to be a doctor. What? I know I told you all about it. I have my dreams, and I know I talked about them. But you never did anything but look down your nose or laugh at me. Huh. You told me you were planning on going to med school? You kicked me out of the house when I didn't get into school on the first try. I spent a really hard year studying, working, paying for everything all by myself and living on my own. But it was all worth it. For every hardship I had to deal with, I've become stronger. And life has only gotten better and better for me. You really are a doctor now? Yes. What about it? I'm still an intern, but that's just part of it. I finished school. I'm a doctor. And I'm happy. I can't believe this. Anyway, what about Kenneth? How is he? Huh? Was he able to go straight into med school? He ought to be graduating soon, shouldn't he? If he's 2 years behind me, that ought to be about right. Will he graduate this year? Then he would start his internships in the fall. Or summer, even. Not yet. Oh. He hasn't graduated yet? What's up with that? What year is he now? I told you not yet. What do you mean, not yet? He hasn't gotten into med school yet. It's expensive paying for him to not work and to have tutors all the time. I was thinking it would be helpful if you could send a little money to help pay for him. That's why I contacted you. He isn't done with university yet. What's going on? How many years has that been going on? I don't want to hear it. You know Kenneth. He's a delicate young man. He can't help it. He isn't like you. He needs a gentle hand. This year he just didn't feel ready for the MCATs. But I'm sure next year he will be ready to take them. So he isn't working. He's just going to university? That's what you need the money for? Well, he quit university after his first year. What? I think he prefers to study at home in his room. He's just always buying things off the internet. He's racked up some pretty serious credit card debt at this point. That's why I want you to send some money. It'll help out. Things? What kind of things is he buying? And what does that have to do with studying? You can't just study all the time. That isn't how life works. It's important to take a break and have some fun now and then too, you know. Let me get this straight. He sits on the internet and just buys things all day long. Stuff that has nothing to do with studying. And all these years he hasn't gotten a job or worked a single day either, has he? He just sits in his room in front of his computer. He's studying! Whatever you say. I am not going to be paying for that. You can go ahead and forget it. Why not? You said you're a doctor, didn't you? I can't believe Kenneth is struggling and you're the one that became a doctor. Who would have thought? You've been able to do what you want, so pay up. It's your turn to help him out. Send some money for Kenneth. Seriously? You must be joking. The only reason I was able to become a doctor is because I worked for it. I did it all on my own. Why am I supposed to pay the very people who kicked me out so that they can pay the bills of a freeloader who has no intention of ever going to school or becoming anything? Much less a doctor. That isn't for you to worry about. Life is hard for poor Kenneth. And I'm telling you that that is his problem, not mine. Kenneth and you have looked down on me for my entire life. You kicked me out to make a special study room for him. And for what? Tell me, was it worth it? I don't have to sit here and listen to this. I'm your mother. You don't think you owe your parents anything? I don't feel like I owe you a cent. What's more, I don't want to ever hear from you again either. What are you saying? You haven't said a word to me in years. You never checked on me to see if I was okay. You never cared at all. Let's go back to that, shall we? You became a doctor. You can afford to help. Won't you? You really plan on just ignoring me and not paying anything. You've treated me like crap my entire life. You've never helped me, even half as much as you have Kenneth. It's never been fair with you. Honestly, you're the one that owes me, if anything. I ought to have taken you to Claims Court for it. Claims Court? You practically abandoned me since I was a small child. The minute Kenneth was born, you dedicated all your love, time, and even money to him. You gave me little to nothing. And when I really needed support, when I was at my poorest, working hard to get into university and had nothing to my name, you threw me out on the streets. Don't you think it is a bit ridiculous that now you are here asking me for money? After everything you have done to me. We don't have any money right now. None at all. That's why I reached out to you, Tyler. Oh, so you do remember my name. Huh. I don't know when the last time you used it was. This might sound bad, but I don't want to hear from you again. Never call me, never text me. Why not? You had forgotten I existed. I had put the past behind me too. I'm going to block you. I don't want you to try to contact me anymore. You're lying, right? You wouldn't just throw away your mother, would you? Who threw who away first? Good luck on that perfect life you always dreamed of. Enjoy living with a shut-in that spends all your money on junk. Don't try to contact me again.
Lauren tried contacting her son over and over again. She tried reaching out to Tyler through email, texts, even social media. He blocked her contact and never returned any of her messages. Kenneth continued on the same path. He never did try to tackle the MCATs. He spends all his time locked away in his room. He even takes his meals alone in his room. He isn't doing a lot of studying, but he still does a good bit of shopping. His parents are busy trying to pay for everything he buys. Tyler finished his internship and started working at a university hospital. He loves his job and makes an excellent living. He met a wonderful woman, and they married before long. They've started a family and are very happy. He is living the life he always dreamed he would. No thanks to his parents.